Hi, I'm Callie and welcome to Kapowski Reads. I am gonna bring you with me for a couple of days while I make my way through this tome. I have been wanting to read N0S4R2 for... when did I buy this book? Like 2 years? I've been wanting to read this for a while and this is the weekend that gets done. It is a big book, but I don't have any... I kind of have plans. I don't have a lot of plans and I can work around things. I am going to go into town. We're going to go for lunch. We never do lunch, we do brunch. So this is very exciting for us. We're going to get lunch. I am booked in for my flu jab this afternoon, which is why we're doing lunch. I don't like needles, so I need to bring my boyfriend with me for moral support. And we're going to do a little bit of Christmas shopping and that's pretty much it. We're going to go in, we're going to eat delicious food, then we're going to do Christmas shopping, and then we're going to come home and probably eat something delicious for dinner a few hours later. And then get back to this. So this is by Joe Hill. I've never read anything by him, but I have been made aware of some of his film adaptations and they tend to be pretty well received. This is about a woman called Victoria who as a child was able to sort of pass through space and travel across this imaginary bridge and find herself in like locations she couldn't possibly have traveled to in that amount of time. Very quick, you know, travel, dimensional stuff. And she finds herself kidnapped by this man called Manx who drives an old Rolls Royce with the license plate Nosferatu. And she is the only one of his victims to escape from him. He's not a nice guy. He steals children away to a place called Christmasland. And he's back. She's an adult. She's all grown up. And he comes back for her son. And that's all I know about this book. I'm very excited about it. It does say on the front of it, the most terrifying book you'll read this year, and that's what I want. I don't feel like I've read any good horrors this year. Like I have. I'm lying. I've read good horrors, but I want to be scared. I haven't read anything that's like really scared me, and I kind of want that. I will probably regret asking for that. I have read good horrors, but they've been more sort of like creepy. And I do love creepy, but I want scary. And kind of hopeful that I'm going to get that with this. But I am going to go and finish getting ready to go out for lunch. And I need to, unfortunately, evict Mr. Cat because he doesn't live here. And he can't be here while I'm not here because, well, that's kidnapping. It was catnapping. And I'm not going to do that. I'll be back in a bit with an update. So we did go out, we went for lunch. I got my flu jab, all was well. I'm not feeling the best today, but it's nothing to do with the flu jab. It is entirely to do with my lovely endometriosis, which is causing me a lot of discomfort right now. I'm on the good painkillers, like the good ones. I have no stronger painkillers than the ones I have right now. And I have to argue with a really grumpy pharmacist to get these. So hopefully the pain will pass soon. I did get some Christmas shopping done. We're now in that glorious place where the vast majority of our Christmas shopping is done. We do celebrate Christmas really like quite early, like usually a week early, but this year just because of timings we're celebrating a little bit earlier than that. So I just want to have everything done because then I don't have to panic, but I will panic because that's who I am deep inside. I will find something to panic about. But gift wise, we are on track and I'm feeling good about things right now. I have spent the day on the sofa, having a duvet day, but like with a blanket instead, and trying to convince the cat to hug me, but he doesn't like to hug me. He likes to sit next to me, but no touching. Um, I've also made some great progress in my book. I'm now over halfway through it. Like, I am this far through it, and I'm having a great time, and I will fill you in. I've also been watching Christmas films, and I've watched three of them over the spell where I've been filming this video, which isn't going, it never goes according to plan. So I have watched two just classic, like Hallmark films, which are what I want deep in my soul. I want somebody to come to a small town from a big city, fall in love with somebody, ideally somebody who has a career that they could not like realistically make a living off of, like artisanal snow globe maker, marshmallow artist, like something that you're like, okay, that's their. Actually, no, snow globe makers probably, that is a craft. They could make a good career of it, but like a lumberjack shirt must be involved. There will be hot chocolate. I want a snowball fight. That's what I want. Like candy floss for the brain. I watched two films like that. Snow Coming, which was ridiculous. And I watched The Holiday Swap, which was just utterly predictable, and I felt like my brain could just have a little nap. Perfect. And then I watched Meet Me Next Christmas with Christina Milian, who I love. If you have not listened to her songs from like the aughties, uh, do. They're great. Party bops, all of them. This film is awful, but I mean, Christina Milian is fantastic. I think it's awful because it's all focused on like there's far too many plot holes and it's very Glee coded, and I didn't like Glee, and it turns out the band in this film are real, and I don't like when people sing as much as they sing in conversation. It made me very uncomfortable. But if you took away the band, this film was great. But with the band, the film was not. Um, but I love it. I've been reviewing on I've just been reviewing all of the Christmas films I'm watching, and I'm so excited about the one that's coming up soon on Netflix. Where a woman falls in love with a snowman, and I feel, oh, truly, is that not the spirit of the festive season? Is ridiculous romances with like random men that just appear out of nowhere, and nobody goes, "Is this not weird? Is there a safety concern here?" And they're like, "No, for he is handsome." That's the kind of film I want. Uh, book review time or book update time. I'm now over 400 pages through Nosferatu. I am having a fantastic time. I have met Victoria, and the book actually starts when she's very young, like way before her interactions with Manx, who's our kind of vampiric Rolls Royce driver, creepy guy. And you get to see Victoria sort of learn to use her, shall we say, talent. She has this bike, and when she's on her bike, she can imagine this bridge which will take her anywhere she wants to go. She just has to really be like, I want to go there. And the bike, it makes it so. And I really liked getting to see her learn to use this ability. And it was really interesting seeing the way that she would decide under what circumstances to use it because it caused her physical and mental pain. And I really liked that. I felt I really got to know the character before and anything else really happened. Her first interaction with Manx was just horrific, just so traumatizing. And there's absolutely, like, of course she was traumatized by it. It was horrible. The book is mainly told from like an omnipotent perspective, which I love in a book, but we get to sort of witness what different characters are going through. In addition to Vix or Victoria, our main character, we have Manx's right hand guy, shall we call him? And his name is Bing. And basically, Manx always has like a Renfield, if you will, a Renfield to his Dracula. And Bing is an awful, awful man. And I would say that Bing who is entirely human, whereas Manx is not. Bing is far more terrifying to me than Manx because there's something about something that's like paranormal where I'm like, yeah, but it's not in the real world, so I'm probably gonna not be in as much danger. But when it's a real person, that's more terrifying. The place I am right now in the Vic is where Victoria's son has been taken by Manx, who just violently attacked Victoria, and it was just so not. I was not nice to read about it at all. It was so horrible. This woman has gone through enough. Leave her alone. But no, he takes her son almost as a sort of. He wants Victoria. He wants the one who got away. And the easiest way to do that is to take her son, who is just the sweetest little boy. And so Victoria is trying to how do you try and explain to the police, oh, this mythical guy that you think is dad he has taken my son. And they're like, that can possibly happen. He is dead, but also he was very old. And it's just not possible. How do you explain that? And when they try and like find where his iPhone is, because luckily they've set up protective measures there, it shows that he's on his way to Christmasland. And they're like, oh, whoops, something must be going on with Apple because it doesn't make sense. So it's so frustrating reading the way that the police are failing Vix and her partner, or ex-partner, Brucey's dad. It's just so painful reading about the failure that's happening there that Vix kind of feels, I have to go and deal with this myself. I have to go like not vigilante, but like go and like take care of this herself because the police are not going to help her. They don't believe her for one, and they also think that she is insane for two, and also, you know, the story makes no sense, but it's true. I'm so hooked. I want to know what happens. I want to know, is Bruce going to be okay? I really want Bruce to be okay. I really want Vix to be okay. I really want Bing to not be okay. And that's kind of where I am right now in the book. I'm having a fantastic time with it. I'm probably going to finish reading it tomorrow. Going to read a little, stop reading for now, and I'll read a little bit later before bed. It's not scary enough yet to be forbidden to read before bed, but I'm having a good time with it, and I'm having a good time with my Christmas films, and just my insides are causing me chaos today. Hopefully, I'll have a better time with them later, and then I can come back and tell you all about my final thoughts and feelings with the book. But so far, it's all going well. I'm having a great time, and my hair's awful. We're gonna ignore that. I'll be back in a bit. This is not the best lighting in the world, but I want you to show my Christmas bedding in honor of finishing Nosferatu. I thought I would just get in the spirit of Christmas, and I've got my little pin. You don't know if that shows too well. It's from my lovely friend Sally's shop, Hand Over Your Fairy Cakes. I have finished Nosferatu, and I really liked it, but I was not scared. And I am a wimp. I am such a wuss about everything in life. I read this was my kind of all-time book. I was reading it in the day and I was reading it before bed. I read this before bed. Can't read a scary book before bed, but it wasn't scary to me. And I think that that's because it definitely gave me like adult goosebumps vibes, I feel. I thought this book was really, really fun, and I really liked the characters. I really liked Victoria, and I really liked the way that she'd kind of carried throughout her life, like dealing with not being able to trust her own mind. And of course that's had its repercussions on her just very sense of self. But I loved just seeing how much she really did love her child and her partner, well, ex-partner. You could really see that she had some great affection for them. I found it hilarious that they had named their child Bruce Wayne, and that kind of continued tickling me right up until the end of the book, because I forgot his name was Bruce Wayne, and I was like, wow. Wow. It was fun. I thought Bruce was adorable. Like, he was such a cute kid, and he really just loved his mom, he loved his parents, and he was so just adorable. I really liked having him as a character. I liked that Manx was kind of like a boogeyman kind of character. Like, he didn't feel like a real boy. And I know he was once a, you know, I know he was a real guy, but he didn't feel like a real guy. He did feel like this mythical creature to fear. I really liked sort of finding out a little bit more about the car, and I really enjoyed getting to go to Christmas Land. I would have loved, I mean, I was led to believe this book would have featured Christmas Land a little bit more than it did, and I kind of felt like that was a little bit of a failing. Well, not failing. The book didn't fail. The book succeeded to entertain me. But I was left sort of wanting a bit more of the promised festive horror elements, and I didn't get that. I did get kind of creepy Children of the Corn vibes, but I didn't get creepy elves. I wanted scary, horrific elves. I don't know. I feel this book was so close to giving me what I wanted, but instead it kind of gave me like a heartfelt story when I was looking for terror and Christmas terror. I did feel like the sort of human moments of this book were far more impressive than the horror elements of this. I feel the true story of this was just about Victoria and her relationship with her child, and Victoria finding some closure for her childhood, and for Bruce being able to move forward and not repeat the path that his mum took. I felt it was more of a sort of heartwarming family story than it was a horror. I did cry at the end of this, which kind of took me by surprise, because the last chapter I just thought was so beautiful, and just, yeah, it was exactly what I wanted. I would have been really miffed if the book didn't have the last chapter. And then when I was reading the acknowledgements, because I read them, there was a little acknowledgement that the naughty list was people who didn't read the acknowledgements, which was why I chose to read them this time. I saw that the author thanked his mum, who encouraged him to add the final chapter. So thank you to Joe Hill's mum for having encouraged him to add the final chapter, because I felt that it rounded out the tale so perfectly. I feel like if we didn't have that, the book would have just been left hanging a bit. It provided proper closure for the story for everyone involved. But this was a very enjoyable story, but I feel it's more a thriller than a horror. And I don't know if I just maybe was I don't know. I don't know if Sarah's gonna be the scariest book. I liked it. I had a good time with it. I'm giving it 4 stars, and I would love to read more books by this author. And I'm still on the hunt for a really good horror. But while this doesn't go on my list of favourite, you know, scary books of the year, it maybe is going to go on my list as one of my favourite thrillers, because it was really good. And it made me cry. It made me feel a whirlwind of emotions that I didn't expect it to. And it was just really well written, well executed, and it was a joy to read. It did not feel like it was this massive, like 700 pages. And I think that's a good sign. If I can read your 700-page book and not feel like I'm just waiting, like, oh, when does the chapter end? You know, how many pages are left? That's such a good sign. And yeah, I had a good time with this. I'd hoped to do a little bit more sort of interesting things in life, but that didn't happen. So maybe another time that will. Thank you so much for watching.